Guess who's back? Back again. Footman Scrimmers the Third is back. Tell a friend. Let's go. It has been about 9 or 10 days since I last uploaded a video. I've been on a bit of a break because, let's be honest, F1 24 hasn't been fantastic off launch and I've really not enjoyed playing it. So I took a week off, but now I'm back and we are ready to continue with my Ayrton Senna driver career mode. Now you might be wondering, for Krim, what happened to Brazil, which was the race after Mexico? Well, let me tell you, I recorded that episode about 7 or 8 days ago, and let's just say it was an actual insult to the beauty that is content creating. Pretty much the entire time I was doing a pretty typical thing for me, which is just moaning and crashing. But what I can tell you is it was obviously a sprint weekend. I qualified P12 for the sprint, had an absolute rotter, about 8 tenths off the pace. Max Verstappen, my title rival of course, qualified P2, and then at the end of the sprint, nothing really happened. I did have a really good start, and that put me up to P8, so I managed to get one singular point. Max Verstappen dropped down to P4, which means he scored 5 points, so he got a 4-point gain on me, which I didn't think was too bad, because let's be honest, 4 isn't crazy. You can overcome that by finishing first and he finishes second, you know what I mean? And then in qualifying for the Grand Prix, I pulled through an absolute masterclass, a proper clutch moment, and managed to put it on the second row. Only a 10th and a half away from a Ferrari front row knockout, with Max Verstappen down in P5. So into the Grand Prix, I was feeling very, very confident, and after a really, really good start, and my pace just being absolutely electrifying, I don't know why, it just was, I managed to pull through a P1 finish in the race with Max Verstappen down in P4, which means if we return to how it stands right now, I have a 33-point lead in the Drivers' Championship with only 2 races left. Which means if I win today, or to be fair, even if I get second today, I will win the Drivers' Championship. So enough waffling about what happened last week. We're here, we're for Las Vegas, it's a fantastic track, it's gonna be a belter, you know the drill. Let's get to quali and start this show. And here we go for a very special weekend of racing, potentially. I could like completely bottle this like Arsenal and finish like 9th, and then we go to Abu Dhabi. That would probably be better, I should say, for like a narrative, like, oh, look, we go to the final race, who will win the title? But at the end of the day, I'd like to do it here, do you know what I mean? So let's put on the setup, we're ready to go, you know how it is, we do 2 hot laps, the first one, feel the track out, see what's going on, and let's do this thing. And here we go then. Now, I don't want to make, like, you know, pre-quali excuses, but I am going to. This is my first lap in this McLaren since my last episode about, a week and a couple days ago. Also, I've been driving on manual gears for a very long time, pretty much. My main issue with this game is, of course, its handling. So I went away and I'd done a load of 100% races at completely random tracks to try and, improve at the game, get better at the handling, so I can actually enjoy making videos again. One thing I was doing is using manual gears. Now, unfortunately, manual gears on here, on video, are really, really loud, so I'm forced to use automatic. And, there is actually quite a big difference, not just in pace, but also in feeling. With manual gears, you feel like you have a lot more control over your car. But I'll tell you what, for a first sector, that's an absolute belter. It's not the fastest, but that was very, very strong. Now we have the hard braking zone of, I'm not even going to bother trying to name what corner this is or the number or anything because I don't know it. And now we have, obviously, the strip, and what I've done is I've saved quite a lot of ERS. What is troubling me, though, is I'm only a 10th up on Kevin Magnussen. Oh, no. Now, this braking zone is very, very scary. I'm going to go about there. That's a bit too... No, hang on, no, that's borderline perfect. Decent exit, right up against the walls, a little bit of a love tap. That's fine. That was a good sector 3, but I'm going to run out of ERS before the line, and this also looks like a bit of a stinker. Okay, not as much as a stinker I thought, but that is still stinky. Only P7 on the grid after my first flying run, and to be honest, I didn't really learn much, I'm not going to lie. I sort of already know this track. this is probably my most played track over like this F1 game and the last F1 game. So I sort of know what I'm doing, but yeah, that was slow, and I don't really know where I'm meant to find the pace. I assume Sector 1 is my biggest downfall. Let's get back to the timing sheets and see where I'm losing time. So actually, I'm only a 1/10 and a half off P1, so it's really, really, really not that bad. Also, when you consider the fact that Max Verstappen is also a 1/10 and a half behind me, and one thing I completely forgot to mention is before I loaded up to play this today, they had a driver ratings update, and what I can tell you is Lando Norris, Lewis Hamilton, and I believe Carlos Sainz all got +1 ratings, which means their AI is going to be a lot better, whereas Russell, I think, Perez and Alonso all got downgrades. So, Lando should be in for a good performance, and we need that really bad. Also, Max Verstappen P9 is ideal. We've got one more time run left. If I could just find 18 milliseconds, it's a top 6. That isn't bad if Verstappen stays 9th. So let's get back out there. See what I can do. Let's go, boys. Alright, so here we are on the strip to go for my final run. Don't have a bit of traffic, but it's not too bad, and I actually feel like a bit of an idiot. It turns out I had 10 laps of fuel in the car. So now I've got 8 laps less fuel, brand new tyres, rubbered in track. Let's go for a flyer. Across the line to begin our final lap of a potential title winning weekend. Get round turn 1. Gotta get a really good exit. It's up against this wall. That's pretty terrible, but we are going to find time. About 900ths. Next braking zone. I'm going to go very, very late and brave into this one. That's nice. Up against the wall. That is gorgeous. It's another 10 found. Through Sector 1, we are 26 milliseconds up on Lewis Hamilton's time. This section is really, really tricky, but I've actually had a blinder through there. That is lovely. Did a bit of overtake on the exit just to get some little bit more time back. 2/10 up. I'm feeling good. Now, I feel I could brake a bit later into here. Oh, that's very scary. That's very sketchy. Little tap of the wall, it's fine. Look at this, though. A nice little slipstream from one of the Saubers. Whoever you are, you're a legend, mate. Who's it going to be? I believe that's Zhou Guanyu. And it is. Zhou Guanyu, you're an absolute hero, mate. Appreciate that one, blood. 3.5 temps up now. Into the final braking zone, a little bit early, but it's fine. Over the curb, good exit, tuck against the wall. That is a pretty good lap, and I think I'm actually going to have ERS for the line. And what's it going to be? Everyone managed to improve. It's... Oh, hang on. I just saw a little thing at the top. Does that mean... Oh, yes! Come on! In a potential, I don't know if I've said it enough, but this is a potential title-winning weekend. I go and put it on pole by 40 milliseconds over Carlos Chili Sainz. And look at that. Max Verstappen, P6. He did manage to improve his lap time, but it's only good enough for 6th spot. 3rd row on the grid whilst I'm on pole. Now, this track, you can overtake, and we know that Verstappen is going to gain places. But remember, all I need, I say all I need, it's still a tough job. I need a top 2 to secure the title, I think, if my numbers are correct. And also, I sort of jinxed, creator's curse on Lando Norris there. Sort of said because of his rating increase, he's going to be, in for a great performance. And, yeah, P10 isn't fantastic. Actually, what is our lead in the Constructors right now? It's only 38 points. Okay, anyway, this is a massive, massive race coming up. Let's get to Sunday and absolutely smash this out of the park. And here we are at the world-famous Formula 1 Las Vegas Grand Prix 2024. This is going to be a very nerve-wracking race. I'm not actually looking forward to it. I'd rather it just be over now and I've won, do you know what I mean? But we're here, we're locked in, we will win this race, and we will win the championship, but let's just hope I'm not creator cursing myself there. Anyway, let's get to the grid. Now, the strategy is very, very basic. As always, it's just a one-stopper from medium until hard. Honestly, I was actually considering the 2-stop just because of the pure pace advantage that I'm going to have, but it's 15 seconds extra race time that I don't think I'm going to be able to drive back. Of course, having the extra stop means you've got to drive 20 seconds worth of pace, and I don't think I'm going to do that in only 18 laps, so I'm sticking with the 1-stop. I'm ready. We're going to be preservative, we're going to be defensive, and we are going to win this race. Let's go. It's time to win this championship. Here we go. 5 lights on, and we are away and off to see the wizard. It's an alright start. My wheel isn't turning on. Why is that happening? Well, that sort of spoiled the event a little bit. I was getting ready for an excellent start, and my wheel just doesn't turn, look. You see how my wheel is, like, turning about, what, 45 degrees? I was actually going full lock left, so that's a bit annoying. Okay, I might have to do a game restart for that one. Okay, attempt 2. I've made sure my wheel is working, at least I hope. 5 lights on, and we are off again, and this time we are locked, and the wheel is working fine, and that is a fantastic start by me. Let's get round turn 1, let's push signs to the outside, just get a decent exit, and that should see us through comfortably into P1, and we are away. Wheel is working fine, fully operational. Okay, nice one. Now, of course, my main threat in this race is going to be the main straight. Well, I should say the back straight. The Las Vegas Strip, of course, that DRS is filthy. And I don't really know where I stand in terms of straight line speed. Although what I will say is that something's got a bit wrong behind me, because I already have a 3-second gap to Posh Spice George Russell. Okay, that's interesting. So that's already turned it into a 2-horse race between me and Mr. Chili. And like I said, I could finish P2 and I'd still win the title. It's just finishing P2 and winning the title is a bit dead. Here comes Chili. Now my straight line speed is pretty good-ish. Still going wheel to wheel. I don't really want to go wheel to wheel into this corner. I ain't going to outbrake him. We're going wheel to wheel through here. This is really, really stupid. I've somehow kept it together. Bit of oversteer, a little bit of wheel banging, but you love that. It's just hard racing, as Max Verstappen would say. And here we go across the line to start lap 2. We are still wheel to wheel. But I crossed the line in P1, and we keep that P1. Nicely done. I also forgot to say that one thing that I changed between now and last week is that when the game first came out and there was that god-awful handling, it was actually like a recommended thing that you up your like wheel turning radius from 360 degrees, which is of course normal, to 500. I changed it back to 360, and even though it took a few hours to get used to, I feel a lot more comfortable in the car. I mean, my exits are fine, I'm not really having moments, I'm feeling good. As we set the fastest sector 1. Now, of course, Sainz is always going to be behind me. I don't think I've got the pace to just outright diff him and get that second lead. All I can hope, really, is that he sort of overtakes me down the strip here, and then I get him back at the next DRS and just keep rotating it like that until something happens, a pit stop, safety car, red flag, stuff like that. So there goes Sainz. Can I actually fight him? I can, you know. Do I go for this? Is it really worth it to go wheel to wheel again? I don't know if it is, but we are doing it. Okay, nice. There you go. That works out way better than I could have ever imagined. 7/10 gap back to Sainz. Crossing the line to start lap 3, and that should be another fastest lap for me, I think. And it is. I tell you what, though, the chasing pack are closing in very, very fast. George Russell already got that gap down to 2.4. I believe Perez got ahead of him. And he's down to 2.1, Verstappen 2.6. They've caught me by 1.5 seconds in 1 lap, which of course is down to me and Sainz bickering, but that's still not what you want to see. Tyre deck is looking fan-dabby-dozy, only 6 to 8% on all tyres on lap 3. That's not too bad. That's like, what, 2.6% a lap, which is fine. We aren't stopping until lap 8, so, you know, 25% tyre wear when we stop. That's fine, that's lovely. Carlos Sainz sets another fastest lap. He's really cooking me right now. Proper digging into my gap. And he is going to have DRS, and he might actually be a threat down this straight. Might have to go a bit on the defensive, but I still feel okay. We're chilling. Here comes Sainz. He's going to go for it, and actually... Okay, never mind. I thought he was going to commit a bit more. I was going to let him by so I can get him back down the back straight, but we're still in P1. And it's very, very stressful, I ain't going to lie. Verstappen also made another place up, and he is up to P4 already. Now, what is really, really nice is that, oh my goodness, Verstappen's already up to 3rd. My goodness. The Dutch man is cooking. But what I was going to say is that it's really, really nice that they've changed the DRS down the back straight. Before, the DRS started pretty much at the start of the straight, and it was a bit overpowered. Now, it's actually not until nearly the end. So DRS down there isn't nearly as much as a threat as it was, and that is helping me out massively. Well, on this occasion, Carlos Sainz is very, very close to me, and I feel very exposed. I'm not going to lie, I'm not happy about this at all. Only 2 tenths back. DRS gets enabled now, but he can't really get close. Here he comes. Right, so he's going to go to the inside. I'm not actually going to fight it very much. I'd rather try and get him down the next DRS straight. I feel like that's not a bad idea. I have got a lot of DRS to spare, so let's see how that goes. Through turn 1, I'm actually going to sneak to the outside here. That is world class from Ayrton Senna. Round the outside again, DRS is enabled. I'm going to use some overtake, and that should see us well clear. Oh my goodness, where did that come from? That is a gorgeous overtake from Ayrton Senna. Whoa, big skid. The car is starting to get a bit snappy on me, but nowhere near as bad as it usually is. This is actually like very drivable still. You just gotta be very, very cautious on like corner exits and throttle input. But you know, I've spent 3,000 hours playing these F1 games. I am aware of how to drive. That's a complete lie. I really don't. Anyway, down the back straight once again. Now, what's nice here is that look, I can use my hot lap ERS, gain a few hundredths on Sainz. DRS gets enabled now. And it means that if he's not within like 2 or 3 tenths, he literally can't even get close. And I'm just free to take this corner as normal. And we are absolutely fine. And we do have a mid-race goal, which is use overtake for 2 seconds each lap for 3 laps. That's very, very easy. We take those. Right, and for the first time this race, I have actually managed to escape Carlos Sainz's DRS. Only just, but I have managed to do it. That's actually really, really big. Max Verstappen, 3 seconds back. That gap is extending, very small and very, slow but surely, but it is extending. As George Russell overtakes Sergio Perez for 4th, and then Sergio Perez overtakes George Russell for 4th, and then George Russell overtakes Sergio Perez for 4th, and then Sergio Perez overtakes George Russell for 4th. Good bit of racing going on there. Battling for 4th. But to be fair, like I keep saying, Verstappen can very well go on to win this race. As long as I'm 2nd, I should still win the championship. Oh wait, I didn't even realise we're stopping this lap. Okay, so this is going to be our one and only mandatory stop, going from the mediums to the hard tyres. And it looks like we are also going to be undercutting Carlos Sainz, which is going to be a big help. Unfortunately though, Max Verstappen also stopped on this lap, which means that I'm not going to undercut him, but of course I still will keep that 3-second lead over him. This also means there is a very realistic chance that by the end of all the stops, it will be me and Verstappen in 1st and 2nd because of the undercut. But look at this. I managed to come out ahead of Gasly and Hulkenberg. Max Verstappen behind all of them, actually stuck in between it. I believe that's a Williams and a Sauber. So that is just going to gain me a lot of time, especially because you really can't overtake through this first sector. That is absolutely massive. Alright, so here we are at the end of lap 9. As you can see, all of the rest of the front runners are coming in. Sainz, Russell, and my teammate Lando Norris. Oh, I forgot to use my overtake. I don't really care. There's more important things, you know what I mean? Max Verstappen, I only managed to gain a 2nd on him, but I believe my prediction might be wrong. Yes, because Verstappen got held up by the likes of the Saubers and the Alpines, Carlos Sainz actually holds on to 2nd and avoids getting undercut by Max Verstappen, which It's massive, but you gotta imagine that Verstappen's gonna be quicker. Right, we are here a couple of laps later on lap number 11. The pace is very, very strong on my side. I'm actually very impressed with Carlos Sainz's pace. He has actually managed to keep Verstappen outside of his DRS for, well, since they both came out of the pits. It's actually been very impressive by him. I thought Verstappen would have been all over him. Like, I thought Verstappen would already be past Sainz, I'm not going to lie, but Sainz is cooking him at the moment, and we still have that battle for P4 going on between Perez and Russell. I believe, and my maths could be extremely wrong, because I haven't really calculated it, but if Russell gets past Perez and stays in 4th, and Sainz holds on to 2nd, there is a very slim chance we might not only clinch the drivers for me, but also the constructors for McLaren. The Grove-based team. Is it Grove? No, Grove is Williams, Woking is McLaren, Brackley's Mercedes, Milton Keynes is Red Bull, and then Silverstone is Aston Martin. I believe that's right. Right, so Verstappen has managed to get within half a second of Carlos Sainz, so I believe his defence might be coming to an end, but what a valiant effort from Chile. I actually respect it so much. He's in the inferior car, and he is holding back my title rival, so we rate him for that. You gotta imagine Verstappen might get by now. It's gonna be close. There he goes. He's gone for it. Does he get the place? I believe he does. So Max Verstappen now up to P2. And then let's see if he can catch up to me. But I've put such a gap to him now. You know, 3.6 seconds with only 6 laps left. Or, well, 5.5. That I don't think he can do it, you know. Unless I do some colossal muck-up, which knowing me is entirely doable, but I'm feeling very, very comfortable and confident in this car. I feel like Ayrton Senna himself. That's really cringe. I'm enjoying myself driving this car for the first time, alright? That's all I'm trying to say. Now, I had a mid-race goal of setting a lap time of a 36.1. I'm going to cross the line and put in a 32.7. Them achieve lap time goals, just an insult to my driving ability, to be honest. You're telling me the team at the pit have gone, right, we want you to go really, really fast, so let's set a lap time that is 4 seconds slower than your current pace. Don't shut up! Oh, hang on a minute here. Carlos Sainz is fighting Max Verstappen. Okay, I did not even realise they were even close to each other. As one of the Aston Martins is also off the road, Fernando Alonso is out of the session. What just happened? I thought Verstappen had just cleared Sainz and he was gone, but Sainz still right in there. My goodness, okay, come on, son. Go on, mi hermanos español. For the boys. For the niños, come on. Can Carlos Sainz do it? For the hermanos español para niños. Yes! Carlos Sainz has done it! He overtakes Max Verstappen for P2 in this race. What an absolute GOAT of the game. Perez and Russell still scrapping for P4. Keep an eye on that. If Russell does get Perez, we might secure the constructors. But as it stands right now, we are well on our way to get this driver's 3 laps remaining. Let's have a hit! Come on! Ah! Now, there is only a 4/10th gap between Sainz and Verstappen on this lap, so I'd say there's an 80% chance that Verstappen's going to retake 2nd. However, if we're looking at this... Oh, actually, that's not going to work out. I was thinking next lap, Sainz will then get Verstappen, but on the final lap, Verstappen will get Sainz, so that isn't going to work. And there goes Max Verstappen. They are actually going wheel to wheel. That isn't ideal through that section of the track, and I believe Carlos Sainz actually managed to hold on to his position, which is massive and rare, as I begin the penultimate lap of what has been a fantastic Las Vegas Grand Prix. That was almost catastrophic. Now, don't get me wrong, this race has been an absolute snooze fest. A lot of these races in the back end of the season has been utter snooze fest, but from my side, it's actually what you want as Verstappen retakes 2nd. This is exactly what you want. Like, you know, for a World Championship winning race, You want to dominate. You want to be out in front, winning by 6 seconds. The car has started to become very, very squirrely. I'm very glad this race is about to come to a close, because I feel like in 4 or 5 laps time, I'm going to be wiggling about the place everywhere. Right, so this is interesting. As I'm about to begin the final lap, Verstappen has actually held on to second, which means if Sainz could just get close down the back straight on this final lap, there is a very realistic chance that he can nab second at the very end and truly secure me the Drivers' Championship, and I feel like I've already done it. But let's end this race on a high. Let's go for the fastest lap. I don't think I'm going to get it off Verstappen, but we can give it a good go. I am going to set the purple sector 1 as Carlos Sainz and Verstappen fighting after the first DRS on the final lap. That's what you want to see. David Croft losing his mind right now. It's a green sector 2 for Firmus Krimmer as the third as well, and this season has been insane. Now, I always set out to win the title in my first season of this series. I know that might be a bit outrageous. It's your first season. Why do you want to win the title? But at the end of the day, the McLaren is the quickest car. In real life, Ayrton Senna won in his second year at McLaren. I have won the most races of any driver. We can see behind me, I believe Verstappen is going to finish second, but it literally does not matter, as I cross the line to take victory, and I think secure the Drivers' Championship. It'd be absolutely hilarious if that's just not going to happen. Let's wait. Will we see the cutscene? And there it is. A Bosch. I am the World Drivers' Champion in the opening season of this series. Now, like I was saying, you might think, bro, winning the title in your first year is a bit cringe. Listen, that was the whole point. This season and this series was only meant to be 3 or 4 seasons long, and all I wanted to do was sort of recreate Ayrton Senna's career. Getting 53 or however many, no, that's Sebastian Vettel's wins. How many wins does he have? 40 or something? I don't know, but 3 world titles, try and recreate that, and then maybe if I'm enjoying it still in the future, move on to, drive for Williams, to do a little bit what would happen if Senna didn't have that disastrous crash in 94 when he's driving for Williams, and see what happens out of that. But this has been a fantastic season. Of course, we still have 1 race left, but that literally doesn't matter. I might even do a last to first on that one. There I am on the podium. There Ayrton Senna on the podium, I should say. What an absolute goat. And here is your final finishing order, and I did actually manage to take the fastest lap, pipping Verstappen by 61 milliseconds. What a time to be alive. That is actually really, really impressive. On old hard tyres to nick it at the very end, that is insane stuff. 26 points for me. We look at the standings, 41-point lead over Max Verstappen, and I don't know why I was questioning myself if I might win the title. I had a 33-point lead. All I needed to do was finish ahead of Verstappen no matter where. If I finished 9th and he finished 10th, I win the title. Do you know what I mean? And in the Constructors, we have a 42-point lead, which I don't think... Actually, wait, no. I think that is enough, because it's 26 plus 18. That's 44. No, we haven't secured the Constructors. We are 2 points away from that. So there is actually something to fight for next race in Abu Dhabi. But what a season. That is going to be all from me today here in Las Vegas. After my week-long break, I am back with an absolute belter. Thank you very much for watching. Ayrton Senna, champion of the world. What a time to be alive. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time for the final episode of Season 1 of this career mode. Also, of course, hopping back on my team career mode and doing some dibble-dabbling in some new stuff that I'm working on. Anyway, see you lot next time. Peace.